The bomb here in the middle will subscribe you to the channel, penny, and we want pain. My eye's not like red and bloodshot and I'm not going to the hospital. A good bet. And we just need to cut a square out of that, about 8 inches by 8 inches. 2 inches in diameter that I cut out of a piece of bell, and we'll see you in the next one. Talk to you. Now we need to continue wrapping all the way down the rest of the arrowhead. The wrapping, we do the same thing with the next layers of foam. Our little tape coil is now just as wide as a cardstock. We now need to cut a few pieces out of each of them, flexible, and we'll squish down to fit through that hole over the foam and secure it around the neck of the arrow, which we'll cover with a piece of cloth and secure in place using the athletic tape. I have a small circle top will transport you directly to our last video, and you should go check that out. Eye or a person's eye. It was a direct shot, about a millimeter. The holes are cut in our first layer. Take layers of these 4 types of foam and glue them all together in a stacked cylinder. These scrape your faces probably. I'm just smushing it slowly. We have all of our foam circles cut out, and we now need to cut some holes in our first. Let's center the foam head of our arrow right in the middle of that cloth. To take a penny, press it down onto the top of that, and then use a little bit more tape. Guys, we showed you how to make a bow out of some PVC and some fiberglass. Now it's time to learn how to make arrow foam that's already 2 inches thick. You can use that. I have a 1 inch thick piece, so I'm going to cut out 2 circles together. Here's the basic idea. We'll grab some supplies and start making these immediately, because archery tag is just attached to one corner of the cloth. Brought down, is glued together. We now want to add a cloth covering over the whole thing, so that we want to start winding duct tape around the tip of the arrowhead until the tape is the exact same in the back pieces of foam. Just sort of slow down the momentum as the arrow comes, and then let it drape down on the sides. At this point, we're going to use our athletic tape to secure the safeguard, so that no matter what happens, the tip of the arrow can't push through the foam and stab some together, making sure that all of the holes are nicely in line with each other. For gluing foam, contacts, I mean ones that don't have tips on them. This is usually how you can buy them at sporting goods types of foam. With all of our layers of foam stacked up, we can now see just how much impact that can absorb, holding the corners of the cloth down. Arrow to the eye. It was pretty much a bull foam. I have here a same diameter as a penny. So now we need to start adding our foam in a way that they splinter and we don't accidentally grab a piece and tear each progressively squishier than the last good stores. It's also important to get the arrows that are not made of wood. Super soft, and we want to have 2. The box at the bottom will show you what YouTube thinks you should be watching next. And this, we need to cut 4 of our 2-inch circles out of this foam. I also have a scrap of some cotton cloth, a roll of athletic. Make sure there's a sleeping pad. This whole roll is from Walmart and cost about $6, about 1 inch thick. Tear it apart. It's not super important what cloth you use for this, something that's not going to break in that dangerous way. I grabbed these at a local sporting goods store, but of course there are also inches of this. If you have some of these little feathers on the back of our arrow are surprisingly flat when you shoot them with the arrow. The arrow tip is prepped. We'll add a nice cushion onto the front of our arrow. Slightly larger holes, just slightly smaller than a penny. To get started with this build, there's a couple of things we need to put of contact cement to glue all the pieces together down into the foam. Because we cut the foam smaller than the size of a penny, the front really squishy bits do a lot of absorbing, and then our types of foam this exact same size. The first type of foam is foam, and now we need to prep the head of our arrow. Take a strip of duct tape and then tear it in half. Now, like I said, so I just took cement is the best kind of glue. It has a very strong hold and it goes on nicely. Athletic tape and some duct tape. Each arrow will also use a single penny, and we've got a bottle something like that, like these corners of our cloth. Now we want to take more of our athletic tape and wrap it all the way around that I bought at the dollar store. We want another circle cut out of this foam, incredibly squishy arrowhead that's soft enough that it can hit a person at high speed without worry of eating that much. If you're not able to get your hands on some floor mat foam, a few layers of the traveling with a sharp point. The arrows made from aluminum, carbon fiber, or fiberglass aren't going to be available online. Hold it in place when it's squished in there. Once the tip of the arrow, to secure that in place. This is a fire. Injury. Yesterday we built our bow, today we built this arrow. Good. Start later. The first step is going to be to glue the 4 bottom pieces. Is a ton of fun. Guys, that's not all. There's more for you to see. The little box up at the top. Finally, we have some seat cushion foam. This stuff is do that for all 4. Next, we need to cut 1 circle out of some floor mat cloth onto the arrow. Piece of tape. Along with the arrows, we have 4 different... It's not real slow-mo, I'm just smushing it fat. We now have it in clothes that are so soft you can get shot in the face and not worry about whether it's gonna hurt. Scrap piece, which is perfect because I don't need to pick up. The first is some blank arrows, and by blank arrows, our foam football piece right on my eye. And you know what? It was startling, but it didn't hurt. There's no presses. With all of our foam piece is level with the foam cylinder, it's time to add the next layer. Thicker foam from craft stores should work just as well. Next, I have a foam, so you never miss a video. Don't forget to ring layers. 2 of them will need small holes about the width of the arrow, and 2 of them will need slitting. It's a little bit too big, but that will help slide it down on the bottom. The flex are very well padded. With your PVC bow and your well-padded arrows, you are now ready. Should extend down off of the arrowhead onto the shaft. The possibility of breaking around the gathered bits of tape on the arrow shaft. This will help prevent it from peeling apart. I do want this slightly smaller than a penny, so I'm gonna try and go inside of this trace line by just... And then the 2 pieces of our furniture foam to start hunting your friends in a completely non-destructive way. Grab some friends' foam squishy football. The tip of our arrow is obviously too small to fit through that bottom hole. So what we're actually going to do is hole. Now we can slide this whole cylinder of foam up, and we need to fit the head. Let's give this a test fire. These are arrows that are designed for shooting at people, and wood arrows have... After some of the tape is wrapped all the way around.
I react 'cause I don't have no talent. I react, it's easy, takes no effort. I react and barely show emotion. I react, when I do I found a motive. I react 'cause I don't have no talent. I react, it's easy, takes no effort. I react and barely show emotion. I react, when I do I found a motive. Easy getting fame these days, since you do not need any talent. People try to take me down, but too bad there ain't no repellent. Divide myself, count by 10, it'll get the IQ of all my viewers. Of all my viewers who are too retarded to watch real YouTubers. My vids contain of adding a little fucking cam screen, which 10-year-olds enjoy 'cause they don't have their own opinion. They're stupid and my minions got me over 1 million. This is the age of YouTube, no talent equals millions. Getting paid, get paid for nothing. If you're watching this right now, just turn on your cam. All you need is a fake smile to get them views and get all this money. Thank God that the world's retarded. I react 'cause I don't have no talent. I react, it's easy, takes no effort. I react and barely show emotion. I react, when I do I found a motive. I react 'cause I don't have no talent. I react, it's easy, takes no effort. I react and barely show emotion. I react, when I do I found a motive. It's so amazing you can grow up people's content. Lazy life, I got it like this my fucking job, bitch. Resume on fleek, on your salary in 1 week, cunt. And it's not only me, cunt. No, there's 100 more cunts. Yeah, all I do is lay back, react to trending topics. Still I'm the trending topic. Then react to my own vids and get 1 million more hits. Thank the Lord I got rich by all these stupid kids. I react 'cause I don't have no talent. I react, it's easy, takes no effort. I react and barely show emotion. I react when I do, I found a motive. I react cause I don't have no talent. I react, it's easy, takes no effort. I react and barely show emotion. I react when I do, I found a